So I watched the earlier video and was kind of like, what's the point of this? And went ahead and started the process to getting it posted anyway. And when I was just reading this, it's an energy forecast with all the planetary stuff that's going on, and I talked about beware of any of the inner voicings that this is lame or I shouldn't be doing this, or trying to talk yourself down. Um, and that was pretty much what I had decided myself. It's like, because Tuesday I had a really hard time doing anything, and so I think even the short videos that don't really talk about anything in particular are still useful for my process and keeping me moving forward on it, rather than wussing out and putting myself in the situation where I have to check out for several months again or whatever. And so forward progress is forward progress, however big or small, and even if nothing exciting happens. So yeah, kind of trying to debate on if I want to go skate here in a little bit. It's awesome weather and I would probably enjoy it. The only holdup really is I had ice cream a little bit ago. So Gracie was in the mood to go to the local ice cream shop, so we had a field trip and it was good. Maybe not the best to skate on. But we'll see, because so far I have never regretted skating when I have thought about it and thought I wanted to go in that direction. Now, after I did that video earlier, I went back home and collected my dogs, and we went over and walked at the cemetery, and there was a funeral going on, so we had to stay to the back area. I noticed when I went to turn the car off, that my trip mileage was at 77.7. It's like awesome. And then when I got home, I did some running with my mom for a little bit, and when I pulled her car out of the garage, it was on the odometer somewhere there was 719, which is Tyler's number, and then it had like 211 miles to empty, which 211 is one of my uncle's numbers, my Uncle Dave that passed away back in February. And I see 57 all the time. That's one of Mike's numbers. And interestingly, I started seeing 622 before he passed away. It was one of those, it was enough to get my attention. And after a couple weeks after he died, his daughter set up to have his celebration of life on June 22nd. It's like, okay, I think that should definitely be one of his numbers as well. And so far, like, my dad's mom, the 112, because she died in January of 2012, like 2 days before I got back from all my Army training. That's the one that stands out the most for her. And for some reason, her birthday was June 4th, which Gracie was born the day before that. But every time I see 64, it takes me a little bit for it to register. It's like, oh yeah, the other number. Tyler's numbers are easy. Most of the rest of the numbers are pretty easy. Dave, he's got 211 and 214, because 211 was the day that he died, and it was also he and his wife's anniversary. I forget how many years it was that day. But 2/14 was his birthday. Of course, it was on my dad's side, so we've never been close enough to celebrate that regularly. It just the group gatherings for birthday parties on that side just have never been a huge thing. Mom's, we're over there like every freaking week. And also on birthdays. Well, we usually just celebrate them on Sunday that week. Regardless, we just turn it into a birthday party rather than just the normal Sunday gathering. Um, yeah, my dad's family's never really been like that. Um, like even when we do me and my dad's birthdays in the summer, it was a combined party and just whenever. So it's also around the 4th of July, so it's not like that's a huge thing to not include if we wanted to. Because he was July 5th and I'm July 9th, and my mom's always kind of made a big deal about, well, you just had to have your own day. It's like, sorry, I don't like to share like everybody else. My mom and my sister-in-law both have December 4th birthdays, and then my brother was born on my grandma's 39th birthday. So yeah, that was December 26th. So they've always shared too. And then of course being the day after Christmas. Yeah. But aside from my dad's, like the next closest one would be my grandma's older sister, the one with the family line that my family's never been real super partial to. And I'm pretty content I didn't share a birthday with her. Her birthday is July 10th, so. And my cousin was July 6th, so that's just, yeah. I don't know. Not really relevant things, just something random to talk about, I guess. I think I'll probably go skate. My mom's middle sister has gone to Florida. They have longtime family friends that live down there, so they get to go usually a couple times a year. They'll go down there, and they left this morning, so now I'm on cat duty as well. Sammy duty just, well, after this time, her niece will be coming to stay with him, and then after that, it's all me tomorrow, and then I pick them up from the airport, so we'll have fun. Well, I said the other day when I was down there, on Monday, I rode with them to the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning so I could drive their car back. And as I said then, I got lost immediately on the way. Like, the first thing I did was end up in the wrong lane at the airport and end up in the parking garage instead of the lane that went back to the road. So that was a minor inconvenience. It actually worked out pretty well because it gave me time to find a Hardee's that I was going to go to and get the biscuits and gravy, because I love their biscuits and gravy. Not that I go that much, because there's really none super convenient to where I'm at. Not that they're a long drive. I'm just never motivated to want to go after it that bad if it's a special trip. But yeah, I ended up having a chance to find the location I thought was most suitable while I was hung up in the line because there was a wreck in the parking garage. And I wanted to talk to the actual cashier to make sure there was no problem since I hadn't parked or anything. And then ended up the really easy shot back home from Hardee's, so it worked out well. So what I'm hoping for tomorrow night when I go to pick them up is that there will be no confusion on the way in, and I can figure it out pretty quick and easily. But everything has changed down on that side of town so much, and I mentioned, I came after I got my food. I came back to their house and I ate breakfast, and then I made their dog breakfast, and then we hung out outside for a while. And I was here for a while because I think I did one of my longer videos that day. And I walked in the door back home, and my mom says, "Did you get lost?" And I was like, "Well, as a matter of fact, I did, but I figured that out a long time ago." So yeah. I'm hoping tomorrow. Oh, the other part of that, my dad said that he doesn't think there's been any time in there, I don't know, in like a decade or better, that they haven't been doing construction on that side of town. It's like, yeah, probably, because it's ridiculous, and I don't know where anything is. The day I went to pick my cousin up and take him to the rental car place, I ended up on this road that was completely different. And of course, the last time I had been through there, I didn't know they were doing construction in that area, and the app that I had used for whatever reason didn't tell me that there was construction. And that I literally had to like stop and turn around and go a whole different route because everything was blocked. So they had that finished when I went to pick him up, and it was chaos because it's like, okay, there's a roundabout, but it's kind of an odd one to get to, and you have to like turn off and then get over to it real quick. It's like, I understand the general idea of what this used to look like, but seeing what it is now, I have no idea. So it takes a little bit to gain my bearings in there. But it is what it is, so. Yeah. Today's been pretty good. Kind of looks like it wants to rain, so that would slow me down on the whole skating thing. I don't know if I'm convinced that it will. The radar didn't look like anything was coming this way. But who knows? I have to figure that out by the time I get over to my aunt's house and go deal with the cats. We'll see. There we go. The friends are coming back. It's nice and conveniently timed that my aunt and uncle go out of town, although since they live next door to both my parents and my grandparents, I'm probably not real super likely to do one there unless it's in the house, which I'm not above. Maybe the front porch be hanging out behind the bush. I don't know, I'll figure something out. I don't think I am not thinking of anything else that I immediately want to say, and like I said, this is mainly just to keep me moving forward and not randomly talking myself out of what I know I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, actually, I've been seeing like 777 and 333 all over the place today. Also 717, that's apparently a twin flame number. I don't know, have fun with numbers. And and my family they know that I'm talking about weird numbers and things all the time. And I think there was one time I said something to my mom about it, and she's just like, "Oh yeah," usually it's the response I get, but or she just kind of, I guess, smirks at me, thinking I'm who knows what, who knows what, but I said something about you're just not as easy to get along with as I am or something. And she's like, well, I have more important things to do than watch for numbers. It's like, you really don't, because all you're doing is finding other things to bitch about or randomly pulling up headlines that are basically bullying other people. So, you know what? If you're happy doing that, you do you, and I'm going to go about being happy over my numbers and being quite content in my goofy little world. I'm having fun with it, so I feel like that's all that really matters on that end. Yeah, it's kind of funny because on March 7th, like I tell my aunt about this kind of stuff too. She's more interested in it than my mom is. And I told her I was seeing 37 all over the place, and then I eventually realized it was my great grandpa's number, or one of them. And there was one day, I think it was actually on March 7th. I had something else pop up, so I sent my brother a message. I said, oh, by the way, Jum says hi. He says, how do you know this? I was like, because his number's 37 and I see it all over the place, and I just saw it, so I thought I would share. And then he said that day my aunt had walked in with donuts over at my grandparents' house, because I've said before that a lot of my family will go over there, well, my mom and her sisters mainly, through the week. And, they might take donuts or breakfast sandwiches or not. But this particular day, my aunt showed up with a box of donuts and said they were Jum's birthday donuts. I was like, ooh, there you go. He checked in with you twice and you didn't even pay attention, or you didn't catch on to it. And I don't think he knows what to do with it, but I feel like we've been really pretty close over the past few years, but he's had a lot going on the past couple years, so he's kind of doing a lot of anxiety with it. Just go that route on that. But he's contending with that as an ongoing thing, and he and my mom were talking on the Bluetooth in the car earlier. She called him. His wife asked her to check on him, but not to say that she called or whatever. And they were talking, and he's all stressed out about something and pissed off at how a doctor's appointment had gone, and he's like, I don't know what to do, and blah blah blah. And I'm just, I feel like, obviously not everything, because it's not my issues and whatnot, but it feels like as I've been able to disengage my energy from being affected by all the energies of my family, there's definitely some increased other stressed out emotions that I've noticed with my family in general. And overall hostility. I feel like I get some of that hostility directed at me because they don't know what I'm doing or why I'm different, but they know that I'm not willing to engage with their negativity like I used to. And it might have just been as easy as I wasn't aware of how much I was still being affected by what they were doing, just when I was sitting there, until I started wearing all the protective stones and stuff to specifically detach and disconnect from them. Then it's been a whole nother thing. And it's kind of funny on the one hand when my grandma talks about anything that I'm doing. Like, she'll talk about how proud she is of me and everything, but then some of the stuff that she is throwing out there sounds like she's really kind of pissed that I'm not as affected by all the negativity as all the rest of them are. And, you know, she's one of them that as soon as she goes and focuses on the negative, like she tends to, you know, it's like, all right, you do you, and I'm not going to engage in that, but if you're going to keep it up, I will leave. You know, my aunt, the one that brought the birthday donuts, she, and yeah, the one that I'm sitting for, we were talking the other day, and she was like, I don't remember how she worded it exactly, but she was talking about how she doesn't think it's that big of a deal to not talk about the stuff that everybody else wants to talk about, since she knows I'm not interested in it and I will not engage in it. She won't do it. And we get along great, obviously. But she says she doesn't really understand why everybody else seems to have such an issue with that. It's like, well, because the negativity wants to go somewhere and it ain't coming here. It's just how it is. And I appreciate that. I can, I feel like it's a lot easier to not, I don't know, I have at least an ally, I guess, on that end. You know, most of my friends don't get it either. There's, you know, I have like 2 derby friends that I talk to semi-regularly, but we don't talk as much as we used to, obviously. And it's the same kind of thing, because they focus on the just the day-to-day life drama, and it's fine. It's just, I just don't really have anything to include or to throw out there about it. Yeah. Anyway, 23 minutes. I think I'm going to call it there, since Sammy is now barking at the neighbor's dog, and go figure out if I want to skate or not. As always, I appreciate you, and until the next time, see ya.